Hey guys, welcome back to Planet Tyro. I'm your host Donald Wonder, and I'm back with my good old manga anime buddy, the Katface Killa.
Yo!
What's up, old boy? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. I mean, waiting to move out and stuff, so I'm trying to crunch anime and manga right now.
Why not? And speaking of which, we're going to go back in the archive and speak about one that's been on there to do this for a long time. And I've actually avoided this anime, which I'll get into my reasons about that later. But I avoided this one for a long time, but, you know, it always comes up on the watch list, and I thought, okay, I better finally watch this show. And, you know, I actually got some positive things to say about it. So, we're going to be talking about, as you can see in the title, an anime manga titled, well, the English translation is called The World God Only Knows. And my buddy Katface Killa read all the manga, correct?
Yeah, I read all the manga, I watched all the OVAs and stuff, I did all the extra stuff. I really, you know what? A spoiler alert, the manga is, you've harped on me a lot for this because I was very adamant about only having so many. This manga became my 6th Hall of Fame title.
Really?
Yeah, and I think it's a shame that you won't read the manga because it's such a great ride, and it's perfect. It fits all the missing pieces that the anime doesn't have that cut it out. You know, it's really good.
I would have preferred to just read them. I would have never watched the anime then, especially from what I saw in the as the story progresses. Anyway, I'm gonna take your word for it, but I'm sorry, Katface. This bridge has been burnt down. I've already been spoiled. I'm not gonna read the manga, so sorry, buddy. But you know, for those of the audience who do not know what this anime is about, do you mind giving us a quick plot synopsis?
It's gonna sound very generic, but I'll go into detail about why that's not a problem. Basically, the main character is a guy that has problems talking to real women, but that's because he's a dating game freak. Or dating sim freak, sorry.
What does that mean? Just for the dummies, just for the Tyros, a dating sim freak? What is that?
Okay, in Japan, because I don't know if they have them in America, I don't think they do, but they literally they literally have video games and computer games where your goal is to make the chick fall in love with you. And he's a master at that. In fact, he's like a grandmaster at it. He's the best. So what he takes this skill set, and what happens is, I know it sounds bad, but just bear with me. a devil comes and
a demon girl, a cute demon girl.
Yeah, a cute demon, a cute, clumsy, ditzy, kind of airheaded demon girl tricks him into signing a contract to help him, or I mean, to help her capture. For
Lost
right
souls?
now, yeah, lost souls. We'll get into that a little bit later, but basically he has to help her catch lost souls, or both of them will die. They have a contract where they have like collars on their necks. Their heads will pop off. They'll die.
Nice.
If they fail. So
Nice.
On the surface, that's really all you need to know going in for the storyline.
And these lost souls are going in some of the girls in his high school, and he uses his experience to exercise them. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. He uses his dating sim expertise to surprising effect to push out the lost souls from the girls that they were possessing, and then they capture the lost soul when it's outside the body.
Can I stop you there and just say, when I heard the premise, I thought, fuck this anime. I honestly thought, this sounds like another typical harem setup. Some guy who's a fucking nerd who only plays his computer games about virtual chicks is forced to just get girls in real life. I'm putting my cards out there right now. I had a lot of preconceived negativity about the show, and just even the art design looked very cutesy. The main characters, you know, the art style is like the hundreds of other anime harems out there, and I avoided it for years because people gave it praise, and honestly, I didn't see anything in this anime that warranted my time. But people kept on going on about how it's good, and particularly in its 3rd season, apparently it got more serious and the storyline got turned on its head. And I thought, oh, for fuck's sake, guys, all right, god damn it, I'm gonna check out this show finally so I can get on here and bitch and tell you guys why you're wrong. Unfortunately, I can't exactly do that because it wasn't terrible.
Yeah, I mean the anime, I enjoyed it, but I think it's because I enjoyed seeing a story I love animated. I have a lot of problems with the anime, but I mean the manga, everything you hate about that genre, because at this point, if you listen to any of my previous recordings, I fucking hate this shit. I hate all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't like it for the most part. I started reading this. This is back when I used to read or not read, but follow 30 or 35 titles regularly as they were getting translated and stuff. And this was one of them. When it first started out, I was there. I was there for chapter 1 when it came out. And it had to hook me really quick. And I'm going to come out and say, yeah, the character's a nerd and everything, but his interactions and stuff and his reactions and whatever, the way he uses his knowledge of games and stuff, again, is different than the other stuff that's out there. It's not painful to experience as a reader, whereas, all the other stuff is just like, I've already, this is the same shit as everything else. It's different. The character himself is different. The storyline, not so much, but the way they go about the main part of it, which is, making girls fall in love with him. And to that extent, the quote-unquote harem aspect, it's a different take on it. It's very metaphysical, and I can appreciate it.
So how different is the manga from the anime?
In terms of who the character is and the other characters and what they do and stuff, for the most part, fairly the same. However, in terms of the overall story, the anime is missing a huge chunk of storyline that leads up to the 3rd season. All the setup, it's gone. They just make it like a 30-second paraphrase before they start the 3rd season, which was mind-boggling to me. I did not understand that at all.
We're going to get more into that in a bit, but you keep going on.
They also cut off the final story arc, which to me was the most interesting one. It's part of what sealed the deal with Hall of Fame, especially the ending where they chose to end the anime. I can't stand it. I fucking hate that ending. Nothing's resolved. It's just painful. It's terrible.
It's so funny you're saying that, because there was another anime just that follows this template word for word and did exactly the same fucking thing. And it was an anime called School Rumble. And I know this is one of my buddies, the Black Critic guy, who he champions this anime and manga. And I'm not running him. Me and him had a talk about this on Skype as well. He championed this so much. He's even got a parody. He's got his own version of the manga that he wrote as a fan fiction on his channel, on his YouTube. That's how much of the anime. This story this anime again had some depth, was a great comedy drama, and they fucking tanked it. They destroyed the 3rd season. They never animated the 1st season of the anime, and they completely destroyed it. And for me, it ruined the whole fucking show. And I know it's not exactly the same thing, but it's just another example of when they don't.
It's a little different, because I've read all School Rumble and I enjoyed it, but it's not. First of all, the storyline, there is no storyline for School Rumble. It's just a comedy. Okay, this one actually has a linear storyline, and to cut out all that setup makes coming into the 3rd season really kind of fucking weird. And then not having that final story arc, not having the fantastic ending to the story, the way they chose to wrap it up, I love it. And it's not there. It's terrible. It's a travesty.
I can only talk about my experiences with the anime, and when I started watching the anime myself, the first thing that struck me was that it actually was unique in the fact that the character was so detached. Like, I wasn't expecting him to be this detached from. He wanted, the thing that drew me about the anime was that I knew the setup already. I read the synopsis. I knew that he was using his skills to get the girls. But when I watched the anime, to see he did not give a shit about reality. He would say over and over again, reality is not for me. I do not care about real girls. And even when he's, I hate to use the word coercive, when he's using his skills to get these girls, he doesn't really care. And I'm not saying that in a negative way that he wants to hurt them. He literally is just, it's like a job to him. It's like, okay, next. It ends with, he solves the mystery, he kisses the girl, he's like, okay, next one. All he wants to do is play his fucking game. He wants to conquer his game. But, as I was watching the show, I was like, this is hilarious. This guy is so focused, so into, and I've never seen the anime focus. In other animes where they show that the male character is interested in girls, there's always an underlying issue, and even there's an underlying issue here which they get to later, but I feel like this anime really went all the way into it with this character, and that's what made the show as a comedy really, really work. The other stuff with the girls and their dramas, I didn't give two shits about that, because that is anime bullshit 101. Oh, the girl, my parents don't like me, all that shit. I was like, yeah, that's a harem shit I don't really like. But this character...
No, go ahead, sorry, I'll say it afterwards.
But this character, when he interacts with them, and when, he makes the show better, and later, when the show starts to get more depth, and this is one of those shows I could already tell the manga's better, because I had the feeling that this seems like, to me, one of those times where they thought, you know what, we're going to make this more comedy than serious in the animation, because this works better. And that's what it seems like to me, because in the last season, they turned the storyline into, they give it a lot more depth, and they made the character, well, in case you guys don't know, if you're not going to watch the anime, the main character, when he kisses a girl, when he solves their issue or it exercises the soul out of them, they forget their whole interaction. So the guy can just move on to the next girl, and it doesn't affect his life, his school life, because all the girls he's dealing with are in his high school. So if they remembered, it would cause all sorts of chaos. So in the last season, all the characters he exercised become aware, and there's a plot with the demons and basically the final, or the part I don't think it really got to, is near the end of the third season. He actually, I want to say he woke up, but the inner conflict with him, that his main problem came into focus, especially when all these harems, they eventually get to the one girl. It got to a point in that last season where this one girl got to him. It always happens in the harem. So when it got to him, but it did it in a really good way, where he started to actually question himself for the first time. And after watching the anime for 3 seasons, it was warranted. I thought, okay, now it's time you get to this shit to understand what's wrong with this guy. And just before they started to get into it, the fucking anime ended. So I was interested. So I actually started looking around to see what's going on with the anime. Are they gonna do the rest? Because I heard, like you said, in the manga, they followed it up. And even I know, as I'm sure you're going to say, the anime probably didn't even do a good job with the parts I watched in the anime. There's more serious parts. It probably didn't even do a good job on that. But I enjoyed that part, and it never even developed it, which is a damn shame, because by that point, the anime elevated a lot. The comedy was good anyway, but once it broke into this more serious part, and they thought, let's bring it full circle, and let's open it up to make this guy, become a part of reality and see what he's doing to these girls, especially this one girl in particular, who actually was the best girl in the show, in my opinion, which we'll get into in a bit. But again, they stopped it in the anime, the very last episode. I mean, the guy finally kind of breaks down and realizes that he feels for this one character, and that he is kind of lonely, and he, maybe there is something in reality. But the end. And I was like, oh, well, am I going to see any more? How long has it been since the anime ended? What, 2-3 years now? That last season?
It's been like 3 years. So they're not making another season.
Boy, that's fucked up.
They made the first 3 seasons within a year of each other, consecutively. They were on the ball with it. Money's not an issue. I mean, they have so many soundtracks and crap.
It sold very well. It sold it's very popular.
It's extremely popular. I mean, it's not just in Japan, but worldwide too.
Definitely, I can test that. It's dubbed. All of them are dubbed. They had I saw this on many sites. People, and like I said, you guys, or some of you guys, requested us to talk about this. So anyway, I'll let you. That was my thoughts on the anime. I didn't read the manga. I'm not really going to, but I want you to go more into, again, how the manga succeeds the anime, and what went wrong, or what do you think is happening with this shit?
The only thing I could think of is whatever things they worked out behind the scenes was they were only ever going to get 3 seasons for an anime, because it doesn't. It's like I said, money was not an issue. It clearly was not an issue. The anime looks beautiful.
Oh yeah,
it's got superb voice acting, at least with the Japanese side. In terms of how it got translated for what they covered in the anime versus the manga, it really is about the same. The only problem is it's just missing huge chunks of the story.
And that's character development stuff, right?
Yeah, it is. They cut out a big part from the 2nd season to the 3rd season, where Katsuragi, the protagonist, starts developing a bit more he isn't really that much more interested in reality, but he becomes less of a dick.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, I don't even know how to say it. It's just like there was so much more with the very end of the story, the last storyline, that it's just like.
Did this actually finish though? That's what did the manga actually end where it's like resoluted, everything wrapped up?
Yeah, it had, one of my favorite endings of all time, Gun Dream.
Yeah,
it's like on the same level as that.
Okay. Wow,
for what this story is, don't make any mistake. They're different genres, different types of stories, but for that world, for that protagonist, for that storyline, it's a Hall of Fame ending. I mean, that's why it's Hall of Fame for me, is partially the ending. And a bad ending can torpedo a good story for me. And that's what happens with the anime, where they choose to end it, completely torpedoes my enjoyment of the story.
Am I wrong in thinking that you was actually kind of watching them simultaneously, or did you read the whole manga and then just watch the whole anime? Or was you kind of doing mixed jumping in between?
No. I always do it like that. I always read everything first, and then I'll watch the anime. I don't jump in between both of them. It's because I want all the all the core original material first before I see something that it was based off of.
Yeah. You were right about School Rumble not really being a serious example, but like I said, I did like the main character Harem and the love issue where it was a comedy. I'm not gonna lie, but it really burns me that the manga had a third season in that story that the anime condensed into one episode. 26, a full season of a manga in one. It was unbelievable, and even the ending was terrible. But the only reason I use that example is because they tried to go a serious route with that story, and they didn't even resolute it, and they threw some anime trash to you. This anime, for me, the reason why I bring it up is I foresee them doing a last season for this. My only problem is they've left a giant gap.
I can't see them doing another season. It's been too long for one.
They've done this before. I think they even did it with something like what's the other anime? It's not the same. I'm just saying there's been anime they've done the last season for so far. Yeah,
I'm aware they've done it, but I mean, for how popular it is and everything, it doesn't make sense for them to drag their feet on it like that. It also doesn't make sense if they were going to do another season with that ending and everything. Why did they cut out that huge chunk of setup for the third season? It doesn't add up to me. I mean, I can't put it together and say, yeah, we'll still put out that last story arc. It's weird.
How much would it annoy you? And
it would not annoy me though.
No. What I'm about to say might annoy you, and you might think this is more probable or more ridiculous. How much more would it annoy you if they just rebooted the whole thing?
Oh yeah, okay, that would really annoy me.
And then decided they were going to do it again, and then fully cover it and make it even more faithful. That might happen.
At that point, I mean, because it's so gorgeous and everything, we better be wearing those fucking 3D goggles or whatever at that point, because it's why.
There's always the times to reboot. 10 years from now, they might come back to this, and you'll be even better. But it might happen. People always want to go back to properties, and it's happening now with anime. So I don't know. I know you're very disappointed with it. I don't know what to say. Like, if I had to give it a rating, it's a solid B. And by the way, this anime will come away with one of the best episodes of anime of all time. Just one episode. The last episode of season 1 was one of the funniest episodes of anime, period. It's in my top comedy episodes of anime, because in the last episode of the first season, he decides he wants to play every single
dating sim that he got backlogged on
every single console, and he goes completely insane. He actually basically destroys himself. He even at the end, he even ascends into the video game, and the last ending credits is him fantasizing he's with all the girls he conquered, living in some fantasy field, and they're singing. The song that's playing in the background is like a mockery song, like, oh no, it's so funny. That episode from beginning to end is one of the funniest episodes of anime. For that alone, that I could set the episode alone. Well, I actually set the episode and gave it to someone, and they didn't get the context. So unfortunately, I can't even say that would work. But for me,
you dumbass.
I know. For me, it was one of the funniest episodes of anime I've seen, and I think I don't. You know what? You never spoke about how you felt as it worked as a comedy, actually, as well.
Yeah, it's so many things, man. Like
you're
the
so
anime,
hurt about this one. You're so hurt. I can tell.
I really am. Well, if I'm hurt by the anime, it's a solid B2. I mean, it's above average. It's outside. It thinks outside the box. It's so many things. So many others aren't that. Whether or not they want or try to be, they should be, but aren't. I love the manga story so much. Having those things missing really kills it. I mean, just even ignoring the manga, just the way it ends in the anime is terrible. It's a buzzkill. It's just not. It's not a good. It ends on a negative note. It should have ended on. This is a story that should end on a positive note.
And by the way, in that, was it the second season? Oh, there was the girl that he ends up having a definite real love interest in for. I'm not going to mention her name, but her episode, the episode before they all realized what had been going on with him, the episode where she had with him, where he had to conquer her, she was a girl that had no faith in herself. It was a very sad episode. It was actually one of the best episodes, the best romantic episodes. She had I think she was like, I don't want to call her a whore, but she kept on trying to get guys, trying to kind of kiss guys. She always got dumped or something.
She fell in love easy.
Yeah, and she was so sad, and she had very low confidence. And that episode was really touching because it's like, I know a lot of people, even my friends, have felt that way. I know I'm getting very cutesy, but it was a really good episode. And I actually like the fact she was a girl that ended up being the one in the end. Because I'm like, that does make sense because they're very similar in the fact maybe he can't see himself having a lot of psychological issues, but I think them two relate a lot, and obviously that's why it kind of worked out that way in the end, which I never got to see.
Out of all the girls, she was the right match for him. There isn't any kind of arguments for that. They're really good for each other. But in terms of the pursuit or the romance, the capture, I think is what they call it in the story. That was one of my favorites. It really was. There's a couple others I enjoyed more, but in terms of it's a very metaphysical story. So in terms of realism, even though it's there's so many zany things going on, it was the realist romance.
Yeah, it was. It's so funny. I keep thinking to myself, if old boy saw the anime first, he might not have given this a time of day.
No, I would have. There's so many aspects about it that I enjoy, like the comedy. The reason why it's Hall of Fame for me, there are so many pitfalls that are so terrible for these genres: the harem, the romance, the comedy, the drama. It avoids all of them. It actually turns them on their head, points it out, turns them on their head, moves around them. It's very witty. It's very metaphysical. It's very smart. The main character is smart, and it doesn't seem like it's artificial, where he's smart and everybody else is a dumbass or blah blah blah. It's just, even though that's how it is, it doesn't matter. I mean, partially because his attitude is, none of this shit matters anyways, but he's likable. Most of the characters you're watching is likable. The way they go about stuff is original and likable. It's likable. It really is.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like you're saying if you prefer them to read the manga and just leave the anime alone now.
Oh, if somebody has no reservations between the two, but they're only going to do one, I would always try to get them to read the manga. Solid B versus Hall of Fame. I mean, you tell me. I never wanted to change from 5 titles for my Hall of Fame, and this one made me change my mind.
Okay. It's a sad state of affairs. It happens in the anime industry, but like I said, I'm pretty sure we're gonna see another incarnation, or whatever, a continuation or a reboot of this one. I'm more hedging my bets on a continuation at a point where you're gonna feel like, what's the fucking point? I'm telling you.
At that point, I mean, I think we're gonna be living in virtual reality land, so it's whatever at that point.
We'll see. I'll hold you to that. You never know. You never know, guys. We'll keep you posted. But anyway, guys, you know what? Let us know what you think of the anime manga. Did you read the anime? Did you read the animation? Did you read the manga version? Did you watch the anime? Let us know in the comments down below. I know this is quite an old one now, and you guys, why are you guys talking about this? We got a list, guys, and we're working through it, and it's gonna get a point. We're gonna catch up on all our shit, and we're only going to talk about the new shit, which I'm not very.
It's not that old, dude. It ended in 2014.
People always think of the start date is all.
Well, yeah, it started in 2008, but I mean, it ended not that long ago. Oh, also, before we wrap up, I want to say, great soundtracks. I mean, they had really good voice actresses.
Yeah, they did.
And they did a lot of studio recording for songs and stuff, and I have a bunch of them on my iPod personally. One of my favorite all-time songs from animes as well is from this. It's his classmate made a rock band, and then she made her own original song, which is called Memories of My First Love. I love that song.
Hey, that's a true fan. Guys, the studio creating this, you betrayed a true fan. Mangaka, you need to get your licensing agreement or speak to the studio, get that shit sorted, because I know Old Boy's not the only one that's hankering for this. There are forums, there's a big, call for this. So guys, make that money, make a decision, but I'm sure there's a lot of things behind the scenes we don't know about, so who knows, until then. Okay,
so just one more thing, though. I keep saying metaphysical, and for people who don't know what that term means, it's when something is fictional but self-aware of that. For example, like Deadpool. Deadpool is the most metaphysical comic book superhero there is. The guy's knowledge of dating sims, the best way to put it is like, dating sims is like anime and manga. It kind of is, from my understanding, is you're basically living out in an anime or a manga where you're trying to make the girl fall in love with you in a dating sim. So in that regards, all this viewpoints and opinions and everything on dating sims actually translates to manga, and because of that, it applies to the story, and it creates this whole layer of appreciation for somebody like me who's read so much manga. I've probably read I think when we started, I probably read around 500 titles. Over the years, it kind of slowed down. I'm probably closer to 700-ish, but not quite at this point. So I read a lot of fucking manga. And just to see somebody calling him out on all this bullshit and everything and avoiding it, and skillfully so, it raised the bar to me. I mean, I would love it if everything became more like this. I mean, not everything became metaphysical, but followed its example to not fall in all these, tropes and everything. It would be great. So, I mean, I just wanted to, because I kept bringing up the term metaphysical, I just wanted to clarify that and why, in regards to the story, it's such a good thing.
That's fine. Just that you have the last word. That's fine.
All right, then. Yeah, I got the last word.
Anyway, guys, as I said before, leave a comment down below, hit a like on the like button if you did enjoy the video, and hit the dislike if you didn't. Well, actually, don't do that. Just don't do anything. But you can also click on the annotations on the right-hand side to all the other stuff we do for animation, TV shows, books, what have you. We're still doing the year of Lupin in 2016. We got so many videos, so many reviews coming up. We want to thank you guys for watching, but until the next one, we want to say, see you later.
Johnny.
Peace.